what's great?
What? What?
Fully digesting things.
Yeah?
You know what's not great?
What?
It's when that digestion is people. This is something that's been on my mind. Is I understand that the media can't talk about something forever. They do have to move on to news stories.
Right.
But what drives me crazy is when after a story is done, all of a sudden if you bring it up, it's irrelevant. Don't talk about it. We're done with that. We already analyzed enough. Yeah. It's like we can never, use previous examples to point out current hypocrisy.
Right. Well, the television first and then the internet second has a very short news cycle. So people are discarded. They're consumed. They're squeezed for whatever value they can get. The left especially is very, very good at this. The right, not so much, but they do it a little bit. Yeah. But we can start, by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, fans and friends out there, we're talking about the fact that the media has a way of seizing on an incident or a persona, let's say a congressional hearing or a Supreme Court justice getting certified by Congress, and then squeezing the story for an agenda and then discarding the individual who gave them the story.
But first, before we get into that, we'd like to sincerely thank our patrons.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much for your help. I mean, yes. I love watching our channel grow.
Right.
We're growing. All our analytics indicate we're growing, and we owe it all to you guys. We really appreciate the help. Please continue supporting us by just giving us a lousy $5, even $1 a month. It means the world.
Or at least click on following on the podcast app. So
correct. Yes. Following also help. iTunes and follow us on Facebook and yada yada.
Yeah, the comments you're getting on Facebook are great.
Oh,
back to our topic, Alex. This all started. This whole phenomenon really started.
Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, no, actually, before that, for Robert Bork.
Supreme Court justice that was nominated, but he was
nominated. But Anita Hill. The interesting thing: the Senate Judiciary Committee was completely dominated by.
No. You're thinking of Clarence Thomas. Who was I think the first black nominated black Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
And this lady, Anita Hill, came on and said that he raped me or sexually abused me, sexually harassed me.
Right.
And they used that to try and cudgel him into admitting something he didn't do.
Right. But before that, there was a Supreme Court justice named Robert Bork, who was supremely qualified by every metric. Joe Biden, who was chair of the Judiciary Committee, Joe Biden supported him, and even Ted Kennedy supported him until they decided they wouldn't support him for political reasons. Okay, because he was so acerbic. He reminded me of myself as a younger man. Actually, very nasty and very acerbic. He didn't suffer fools lightly. He just gave it right back at them. So and they didn't like that because they're in the Senate, But anyway, what happened to Robert Bork? His name was withdrawn from the consideration as Chief Justice, as a justice on the court. But it hit the country so hard that his name Bork has actually entered into the lexicon of American journalism, in the sense of when we get to Kavanaugh and when we get to Clarence Thomas, the journalists would say, "Will this justice be borked? Will he be destroyed?"
So now we see people like, Anita Hill. I don't remember this. I only remember it because I studied my history.
Right.
Was propped up as this angelic hero of the left.
Yes.
Now nobody talks about her. She's and she's only been relevant because of Christine Blasey Ford. Remember her? Right. She was a person that testified that Kavanaugh raped her.
Right.
She claimed, and she was propped up as this angelic hero. She actually made Time's 100 most influential people of all time.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about her. Nobody cares about her anymore.
No.
And she's quiet about it. She doesn't say anything anymore.
No. She's irrelevant, and she's been thrown away like yesterday's fish wrap.
It's like Hillary Clinton. She was, propped up as this amazing, angelic, feminist hero, even though she was silent during the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. We don't mention Monica Lewinsky, the rape victim of Bill Clinton.
There's another one who was rolled over by the left. They squeezed Monica Lewinsky for everything they could get out of her, and then they threw her away.
The poor person. I mean, yeah, that's all she is, discarded fish droppings. And
Right.
that was never used against Hillary Clinton during 2016 campaign. It was tragic.
Right.
Moving on, speaking of Hillary Clinton, the Benghazi thing. That never really was settled.
No.
We had Mr. Peter Strzok, the same guy who was, there was evidence of his text clearly indicating his biases, clearly indicating he hated the president. He was going to do everything he could to get Hillary Clinton elected. And for some reason, he was in charge of investigating her. I wonder why they couldn't convict her. Why on earth?
Yeah.
So that's just been kind of snuffed away. Yeah, her emails, that still was never finalized. Like, no justice was done there. None whatsoever. But hide that. Another person, David Hogg, Emma Gonzalez, and the other Parkland survivors. What happened to them?
Yeah, Parkland survivors. Yeah.
I mean, unless you follow them on Twitter, I mean, when they basically they say whatever the media overlords are telling them. I mean, what happened to them? What happened to their why aren't they on TV anymore telling, with their enlightened sense of how to regulate guns? Right. Why aren't they telling us how to regulate guns anymore? Why? Because they're not useful or relevant anymore.
Right.
Another one, Jesse Smollett. Remember that guy?
Oh my God, Jesse Smollett.
I remember the story early on. They were like propelling him up to the stratosphere. And then he came crashing down as evidence.
Well, he was so stupid about it. I mean, he wrote a check to a couple of thugs to beat him up or to pretend to beat him up.
He had like a fake clothesline.
When the police arrived,
I should have been arrested just for wearing that sweater. I tell you,
when the police arrived in his apartment to investigate and to interrogate him, he was still wearing the clothesline noose around his neck. Right?
Oh, it was ridiculous. And then also,
but he's forgotten about. But I'll tell you so. On a couple of these things, they're not dead yet in terms of the investigation. Hillary Clinton is still going to be Attorney General Barr has authorized the investigation of Clinton emails and Clinton herself and Bill Clinton. Now we have the Jeffrey Epstein, pedophile island story coming up. We see Bill Clinton once again. I never had sex with any pedophile, just like I never had sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I never had sex with my wife. I never had sex with anybody. I'm a sexless person.
You know how the hashtag #MeToo era? It's not so much it's gone down. It's just quiet. It's like someone snuffed it out. I mean, there's still accusations flying around and all that, but
no, I want to stop you there. That's the very nature. That's why liberals jump from topic to topic, because since they only have allegations and they don't have any evidence, like on climate change.
Well, you see, the thing is, there is quite a bit of like Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby, and Bill Clinton. The problem is that this Me Too thing is really only working against Democrats. Al Franken, remember that guy?
Oh, Al Franken, yeah.
All these people are big, giant Democrat donors. Right. I mean, I guess Roy Moore, you could argue, was like but he's like, that's it. Maybe, Brett Kavanaugh, those are like the two big conservative targets, but the grand majority are big conservative people, usually in the Hollywood area, the political area.
They're treated entirely differently.
Right.
When the media grabs a hold of a victim who is a conservative, they're treated entirely differently than they are if the victim, and let's take Harvey Weinstein and Kavanaugh.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, to compare the way in which those two were treated.
Just as accusations. Forget evidence.
Mere accusation. We now live in a country where the media can orchestrate mere accusations into some kind of proof. It's substitutable everywhere and always, interchangeable for actual proof, actual evidence. And the American people are stupid enough where they accept this.
So the main point of this podcast is really just to show you guys, hold the media to the same standard that they've had for the last 50, 40, whatever years since Bork. Hold them to the same standard. They should treat conservatives just as they treat liberals.
Yeah.
And this is your list of things they have killed, of children they have.
So for you younger folks out there, a lot of the geezers in my group, they know all the names that we've been talking about. If you don't know these names, spend some time going on YouTube and educate yourself. Okay. Just don't accept our word for it. Don't accept our interpretation. Go out there and learn how to learn on your own. And we want to thank you for listening to the podcast. We're very, very grateful for having us in your ear, so to speak, every day.
Take care.
See you, Alex. Thanks a lot, pal.